What if your most terrifying nightmare wasn't a dream at all, but a suppressed memory of actual contact? In September 1961, an interracial couple from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, experienced something that would forever change how humanity views alien abduction. Betty and Barney Hill were not seeking fame or attention. They were ordinary citizens driving home from a Canadian vacation, their car filled with luggage and their dachshund, Delcy. But the night sky over the White Mountains held a secret that would unravel their reality. Near Lancaster, Betty noticed a bright light following their car. At first, she dismissed it as a satellite or a plane. But this light was different. It moved erratically, descending rapidly toward them. Barney stopped the car multiple times, using binoculars to examine the object. What he saw through those lenses would haunt him for the rest of his life. The craft hovered silently above a field, a massive pancake-shaped object with a double row of windows. Behind those illuminated windows, Barney saw figures moving deliberately. One figure stood apart, wearing a shiny black uniform and a cap with a visor. This being communicated a terrifying message directly into Barney's mind: "Stay where you are." Panicked, Barney rushed back to the car, screaming that they needed to escape immediately. They drove away at high speed, but the craft followed, descending directly above their vehicle. Then came a strange beeping sound, and everything changed. The next thing they remembered was driving into Ashland, 35 miles south of where they had been. 2 hours of their lives had vanished completely. They arrived home at dawn, their clothes torn, their watches permanently stopped, and Barney's shoes inexplicably scraped. Betty noticed strange pink stains on her dress that would later defy laboratory analysis. Unusual shiny spots appeared on their car's trunk that made compass needles spin wildly. Days later, Betty began experiencing vivid, terrifying nightmares. She dreamed of being taken aboard the craft and subjected to medical examinations. She described the beings as having gray skin, large wraparound eyes, and small mouths without lips. This was years before the gray alien became a cultural icon. Her descriptions were unprecedented in public consciousness. Barney, a pragmatic man, resisted the idea of abduction. But his health deteriorated rapidly. Ulcers, anxiety, and crippling insomnia plagued him. Eventually, they sought help from Dr. Benjamin Simon, a prominent Boston psychiatrist. Dr. Simon specialized in hypnosis, particularly for amnesia cases from World War II. He suspected the Hills were suffering from shared delusion or folie à deux. What emerged under hypnosis would challenge everything Dr. Simon believed possible. Under separate hypnosis sessions, both Betty and Barney recounted identical experiences. They described being taken from their car by short, gray-skinned beings. Barney, a black man in 1961 America, described the aliens moving with a military precision that reminded him of authority figures. His testimony carried unique credibility. Here was a man acutely aware of power dynamics and institutional control. Betty described a leader figure who communicated telepathically, showing her a three-dimensional star map. She was told the map showed trade routes between different star systems. Under hypnosis, Betty drew the star map in precise detail years later. An amateur astronomer named Marjorie Fish would later match this map to the Zeta Reticuli star system. The match was so precise that professional astronomers took notice. Zeta Reticuli is a binary star system 39 light-years from Earth. In 1961, no civilian knew Zeta Reticuli existed, let alone its planetary configuration. The beings told Betty they were a hybrid species, mapping our planet for resources and genetic material. They performed a painful procedure on Betty, inserting a long needle into her navel. The beings claimed this was a pregnancy test, though their methods were incomprehensibly advanced. Barney described having a cup-like device placed over his groin, collecting genetic samples. He was terrified, yet physically paralyzed, unable to resist. Both Hills described the beings examining their spines, counting vertebrae with bony fingers. Dr. Simon noted that their testimonies, recorded separately, matched in over 90% of details. He could not explain how two people under hypnosis, isolated from each other, could fabricate matching stories. The case reached the U.S. Air Force, specifically Project Blue Book. Project Blue Book's official explanation was that the Hills had mistaken the planet Jupiter for a UFO. This explanation ignored the abduction claims entirely and contradicted the erratic movement Barney described. Part 2 covers the official explanation. The case became the first widely publicized alien abduction narrative in history. Journalist John Fuller published The Interrupted Journey in 1966, bringing the story to millions. The book became an international bestseller, translated into multiple languages. A television movie starring James Earl Jones as Barney Hill aired in 1975. The Hills' interracial marriage added layers of social complexity to their experience. Critics suggested Barney's abduction fears stemmed from racial trauma in segregated America. But this interpretation fails to explain Betty's matching testimony or the physical evidence. Skeptics also proposed that Betty's dreams had infected Barney's memories through suggestion. Yet the hypnosis sessions, conducted separately, revealed details Betty never mentioned to Barney. For instance, Barney described the leader figure wearing a scarf, a detail Betty never recounted. Physical evidence mounted. The pink powder on Betty's dress was analyzed. The substance contained organic compounds not matching any known terrestrial source. The shiny spots on their car trunk were analyzed by the Air Force. The spots exhibited magnetic properties that defied conventional explanation. Both Betty and Barney's watches had stopped permanently at the exact moment of the abduction. No watchmaker could ever get them to run again, despite replacing every internal component. Barney's shoes showed unusual scraping patterns concentrated on the toe tips. This suggested he had been dragged, heels up, toes scraping the ground. Strange circular patterns appeared in the field where Barney claimed the craft had landed. Local residents reported seeing unusual lights in the sky that same night. A nearby Air Force base confirmed radar contact with an unidentified object during the time frame. Betty Hill became an advocate for UFO research, never profiting from her experience. She maintained her story with unwavering consistency until her death in 2004. Barney died in 1969 from a cerebral hemorrhage at age 46. Those close to him believed the stress of the experience contributed to his early death. The case remains the most thoroughly documented and investigated abduction claim in history. Dr. Simon, the skeptical psychiatrist, died never fully accepting the extraterrestrial explanation. But he also never found a conventional explanation that fit all the evidence. The Zeta Reticuli star map correlation remains one of the strongest pieces of corroborating evidence. In 1996, astronomers confirmed planets exist in the Zeta Reticuli system, something unknown in 1961. The Hill case established the template for alien abduction narratives worldwide. Gray aliens, medical examinations, missing time, telepathic communication, all originate here. Were the Hills victims of an elaborate shared hallucination triggered by stress and suggestion? Or did two ordinary Americans genuinely encounter something from beyond our world? The physical evidence, the matching testimonies, and the astronomical correlations demand explanation. Dr. Simon's clinical notes contain a haunting admission. This case is unprecedented in psychiatric literature. The interrupted journey of Betty and Barney Hill changed our understanding of what might be possible. Their story remains a mirror reflecting both our deepest fears and our most profound hopes.